All right, so this is how I get bargain hunters to pay top dollar for anything from renovation services to roofing services, all of that. So for a start, we have to first understand that prospects, when they first come in, they're very uneducated. They have a lot of fear, uncertainty, doubt, and especially if they come from cold ads online or from online advertising like Facebook ads and Meta ads, for example, if you work with us, they're going to be looking for every single reason to not trust you. So what that means is all of these prospects, they'll come in with extremely different and often are very, very uneducated, meaning, for example, they want the cheapest price and the highest quality at the exact same time, which is obviously impossible, right? But obviously everyone's selfish, so they come in with certain mindsets and certain frames. And what you have to do is two things. Number one is educate them. And number two is provide them new perspectives and reframes. So the word is reframe, so that when you get to selling them and when you get them to sign a contract and when you propose and pitch them whatever service that you have, that you're able to reverse engineer the mindset of an ideal buyer and then build those pillars for any new leads coming in. So this is the sales process that usually everyone does, right? So they go, for a start, they go, cool, phone call, they set the appointment, they book the appointment, and then they attend the quote, right? So there's nothing else in between those things, and then they email the quote when the appointment is done, and then they'll get an objection like too expensive, or they just send the quote across or send the contract across, and then the prospect just doesn't get back to them, and then they call it a day, right? And then they couldn't close a sale, or they aren't able to close a sale, and then move on to the next lead. So the problem with that is number one, you're wasting money. Every lead that comes in, you're paying for it. You're wasting effort by going to these quotes and appointments and writing those quotes up, getting pricing and all that, and discussing with the customer. And you aren't able to handle objections, so you're letting objections like too expensive, I don't see the value, let me get another quote from someone else, let me speak to my partner, I need to think about it. You're letting all of these objections stop you, which means you're losing deals and you're bleeding money. So this is the way that we do things, and we focus on education, building trust, credibility, and just building the whole suite, okay, of sales processes to ensure that when someone clicks on an ad and falls into our pipeline, that we're able to convert them with trust and with credibility. So when the phone call comes in, we call them immediately, then we book the appointment. So once we book the appointment, from that time until we attend the appointment, we use that as a crucial period to nurture any prospects. So we send nurturing material that is sent previously before the quote appointment to handle any objections. So let's say out of the last 10 quotes you've done, you've gotten 3 most common objections. I need to think about it, I'm scared, and it's not the right time. So what you can do is before the appointment, instead of having a hard time trying to handle the objection head on, the things most people don't even handle it, but instead of trying to handle the objection head on, what you can do is send material beforehand, before the appointment, right? So for example, you get a lot of trust objections. What you can do before the appointment, you send them social proof, right? Send them, hey, this is what clients think, and you can go to any of your current clients and go, what would you say to someone? So in a testimonial, what would you say to someone that says, it's not the right time? Or what would you say to someone that says, I don't really trust builders, and this is how you really handle the objection beforehand, so that it's a lot harder for them to give you the objection afterwards. So another big thing that I get is price related objections from my clients. So what we like to do is we like to explain to them via a quick video or by a quick document before the appointment that it's impossible to be cheap and highest quality, and that if you go for the cheap, you're going to end up wasting more money and time because the builder's going to screw up. They'll have uninsured trades and all of that. So you're better off spending, let's say, $5,000 extra instead of saving that $5,000, waste another $50,000 and then waste another 4 weeks by getting it redone. So it's all of that to reframe the brain so that when the clients come on to the appointment, they're able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I understand exactly what they offer. I understand exactly, the previous fear points and all those doubts, and I'm able to fully handle those. So in the quote appointment process, instead of just going in and doing the quote and then leaving, what we like to do is ask questions and understand exactly what the customer wants. So we like to ask questions around what their problems are now, their desires of where they want to be, and the whole decision making process, right? What exactly makes, the best bathroom possible? What exactly are you scared about? And we get all of that data, so we make the quote, and when we present the quote, we're then able to go, okay, this is what they really, really need. We're going to promote. We're going to present that. Okay, so that when the customer hears your pitch and hears your proposal, they go, holy shit, this guy understands exactly what we're talking about and exactly what I want. Therefore, I'm going to go with this guy because I trust him the most and he or she understands me the most. Okay, so in the discovery process before the quote, we want to ask questions, and if there are any points of thinking, for example, hey, I want cheap and highest quality, we can reframe them and we can tell them. So we're using the whole sales process from the start till the end to really, really nurture the prospect and then put them in the right mindset so that when you pitch and ask them to buy, that they're in the best possible spot to buy. So once you book in the quote, we don't just go home, do up the quote and then send it across. Instead, what we do is this: we book in another appointment to present the quote, right? And we hold the quote hostage. So when customers ask to send the quote across and email it across, you say no, you say it's company policy, and then you book in another appointment and you frame it in their benefit. So Mr. Prospect, we can't send it across because it's just company policy. So what we can do instead is this: instead of saving the back and forth and just confusing you, we've had times where people accepted the quote and they were confused on everything. What I want to do is save you more time and help you get rid of all of your troubles and confusion. What we'll do is we'll book in a quick appointment. I'll come along and I'll go through everything so that you're 100% happy, and then we can make any changes on the spot if we need to. So it's a lot easier, right? We frame it to their benefit. And ultimately, right, what that does is this: if we just email the quote, they won't even go through the quote at all. They go to the bottom, look at the price, and then judge it based on price. We want to judge based on value, and we want to handle any objections if there are any. So once you present the quote, they'll usually say yes, or they'll give an objection. So what we want to do is understand this. Number one, it's a mindset thing for every business owner out there. A sale is not lost due to an objection, right? We have to understand the objection and then overcome it. Instead of like before where, hey, they give us an objection, I need to think about it, I'll get back to you in a week. Okay, you let them get back to you. Do they ever get back to you? No. So we have to understand the objection. For example, when they say it's too expensive, you have to understand. Too expensive. When you say too expensive, do you mean you physically cannot afford it, like you don't have the money in the bank? Or when you say too expensive, you don't really see the value in it and you want to make a few changes, right? So we have to understand the objection, and the basic way to handle objections is this: is you put their objection to the side. Let's say, I need to speak to my wife, or I'm scared, whatever. Okay, cool. So that aside, are you 100% in and happy on the deliverables itself? The PC items, all of that. Cool. Now that they get it, you can go through the price. So in terms of the price, are you happy with that as well? Blah, blah, blah. And then continue going on. Because the biggest mistake that I see is this: is business owners, they get a price objection, they get a fee objections, they get an uncertainty objection. They don't put that to the side and then get a full tie down on the deliverables. Because the biggest mistake is this, right? Is they think, hey, this is too expensive. They reduce the price. Somehow the prospect doesn't close. But what the main issue is the prospect wasn't happy with the deliverables in the first place. So if you lock that in, it's a process of elimination until you get to the very end objection, which is the objection that they give you. So in our training, if you like this document, you can also just comment below and I can send that to you. And if you need any help with the sales process or the marketing process and linking those processes together, please book a call with me in the description below of this video. We'll go through and get strategical, and then we can talk about if we can help you at all. And if not, we'll leave you with strategy and a roadmap for you to implement yourself. So if you have any questions, let me know. But the process of all of this is to ensure that overall we're building trust from day one. We're building credibility from day one, instead of just doing whatever, doing the quote, sending the email across, and then hearing nothing back, and then say, hey, what's wrong? And then blaming the market instead and blaming everything else instead.